With a good attitude, it's going to well help you with the gift of gab to create that brand experience. So we've got goals, attitudes, and behavior. Bottom line is that your behavior and the behavior of your staff creates your brand. What people say about you, what people say about your staff, determines your brand. It's not what you say it is, it's what other people say about it. So it's your behavior is what actually determines your brand. And what I want to talk about for a few minutes is some elements that will help you to create the right kind of brand. But before I do that, though, I just want to go back to the episode with Officer Schmidt for a couple of seconds and tell you that I went home to my darling bride after the incident with Officer Schmidt and explained what had happened. And did I get any sympathy? So, you're right, you didn't. I mean, us men suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. So I'm sitting there at the kitchen table looking for sympathy from my wife and nothing. This is now after 22 years of happy marriage. Now we've been married 29. But she comes over after a few minutes and she puts down a piece of paper on the kitchen table and she said to me, I gave you that insurance certificate about 4 weeks ago. I knew you wouldn't put it in the car. I looked up and I said to her, so it's your fault. When I regained consciousness, the frying pan was in one hand, the divorce papers were in the other, but she didn't actually go through with the divorce, thanks be to God. But my sister-in-law does say my wife will be canonized the minute she does go up to heaven. But the goofball piece about that, though, is that, as I say to people, and if any of you do meet my wife, we live in Chicago, and I know a few of you are from the Chicago area. If any of you ever do meet my wife, do try and convince her that the problem there was that it was her behavior that was at fault, not mine. But that's a goofball example about B for behavior. But I want to talk to you about how your behavior creates your brand. And if you've got the right brand experience, it will help you to be able to encourage more customers into your bar. And the best way I can give you about a brand experience is I want to read a little piece from a book I published a couple of years ago, which is titled Why Ireland Never Invaded America. And in that book, it's a business fable. I've got two characters in it. One of them is an Irish business guru based in Ireland with the well-known Irish name of Finbar Kozlowski. Now, Kozlowski is visited by his Irish-American relation, a guy called Jake Boyd from the States. And they go into a pub and they order 2 pints of Guinness. And Jake Boyd does not know that it takes 119.5 seconds, as Guinness claim, to pour that perfect pint of Guinness. But he doesn't appreciate it takes that long to pour a pint of Guinness. And what I'm going to dialogue here now is an element about the brand experience that I think can help you to grow your business. Let's listen in. Jake speaks first, and he's waiting impatiently for his pint of Guinness, and he goes, Hey, Finbar, how long does it take to pour a pint of Guinness? You know, a pilgrim could die of thirst here waiting. Jake, you're a heathen, man. You are a heathen. Do you not know that Guinness is a religious experience, man? It is also a cultural experience and a work of art. You cannot, Jake, you cannot rush a work of art no matter how much you want to. Jake, can you imagine how that Italian guy, Michelangelo, can you imagine how Michelangelo would have felt when he was painting the Sistine Chapel? If he got a phone call from the Pope, a phone call from the Pope on his iPhone, and the Pope said to Michelangelo, he said, Hey, Mikey, how long does it take to paint the ceiling? Get a move on. He wouldn't have been too impressed, my lad. Not too impressed at all. And it's the same with this black magic we are waiting on here. Guinness isn't just a product. It is an experience. And that, my boy, is what you should be offering your customers with your products, an experience. You've got to give them a reason to purchase beyond just the core product. Jake, don't drink that pint yet. Just look at that work of art in front of you. Look and wonder at the way those tiny orphan bubbles are moving through the glass, seeking rest in some Guinness wonderland. When those bubbles finally cease, when those brown clouds finally settle, when you have a clean, black, beautiful pint in front of you, that, Jake, that is when you raise the magical brew to those parched lips of yours. On Jake, think about it. Starbucks just doesn't offer coffee. It offers a sense of ambience, a sense of community. On Harley Davidson, I know we've got some people from Milwaukee here. Harley Davidson just doesn't offer motorcycles. It offers the sense of rebellion, the sense of freedom. And Apple doesn't just offer computers. It offers a sense of chic, hip, music, and modern. And I bet if Fimber Kozlowski was here today, the question he would ask you is, what is the brand experience that you are offering your customers? What is it that your customers say about your business, about your experience, about the service that you provide? And it goes back to the first element of G, which is goals, and having a clear and compelling goal. If you've got a clear and compelling goal as to what success will look like, you have a much better chance of achieving it. If you can adopt that with a clear and good question then about attitude, you have a much better chance of combining attitudes and goal to create the behavior that will allow you to have the right brand experience. Now, I have a question I'd like to put to you for a couple of seconds. If you've got a business card in front of you, I'd like you to take out the business card. Or if you haven't got a business card, I'd like you to tear out a piece of paper just roughly the size of a business card, please. So if each of you would do that. And I want you to put this back into your purse or into your wallet or into your credit card wallet in a couple of seconds' time. What I would like you to do is to write down the 3 words, and this relates to behavior creating brand. Write down the 3 words that you would like your customers to say about your premises after they have left the premises. Write down the 3 words that you would like your customers to say about your premises, your pub, after they have left. I'm not going to ask you what it is now. Write down the 3 words that you would like your customers to say about your premises. And if you were to take that little piece of paper and put it back into with your credit cards, so that when you look at your credit card tonight, when you go to a restaurant or whatever, we won't be going there tonight, but when you go to the gas station tomorrow or you go to the airport to show your ID, if you see that piece of paper with the 3 words written on it, it'll help you to remember. If next week you're paying for something, you can look at that piece of paper with the 3 words on it and you can say, hey, would any of the customers that were in my premises last night use those words? Or how many of the customers that were in my premises last night would use those words? And here's a simple little exercise for you that won't cost you any money, but I think can help you to drive the brand experience through your team. If you were to go back and ask your team and staff to write down the 3 words that they think customers should be saying after they leave your premises. And then you can have a discussion to see whether or not you've got the right 3 words or not. There's no right 3 words as such, but as long as you're on the same line. But if you're all coming up with different ideas or you're struggling to come up with them, I think you've got a challenge in terms of creating the right brand experience for your customers. Now, B is for behavior. I want to give you some specific points that will help you to enhance your behavior and your brand for your premises. So I'm going to give you 6 different points that will help you to enhance the experience. The first